All right. Oh, I'm having a great time, by the way.
Listen, we always have great conversations.
Yeah. All right.
We'll get right back into it.
All right. Back into it.
Okay.
Back in.
So, welcome back, DJ Nick Flash.
Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you are now about to witness
the journey that is the Life Choices podcast.
Yeah! We're good to go. I play with my fucking mic like almost the whole episode.
No, you're good.
You can hear me, no problem?
Yeah, no problem.
Right.
No problem, Bob.
No problem?
No problem.
What name do you go by the way, for your store?
Okay. Is the podcast starting or?
I started like 3 minutes ago.
Oh, it started 3 minutes ago. Okay.
I'm
right.
going to let you talk for a little bit, and then I might say welcome back or some shit like that. But yeah, just go.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that we were starting,
yeah.
but this
might be the beginning clip of the whole thing.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I started a company called the Lightbulb Agency, and a lot of that is being able to right now start brands. The first brand that I'm launching right now is called Limited Edition Treats. I came up with the idea because, as you know, my brother, Russell, you know him as Merkham, he had an idea for a vintage shop called Lost Era. I wanted to kind of do something that allowed me to tie in treats and confectionery into the shop. I tailored the brand to kind of fit with Lost Era, something, it's a treat shop, but also you get a rush of nostalgia when you're in there as well.
Vintage brings joy.
When you say the word vintage, when it comes to clothing, anything 20 years or plus is vintage.
Pretty much most of our youth is vintage.
Right. Now, exactly.
Now, unfortunately, most of us, as we grow older and succumb to the rules of life, we lose our childlike enthusiasm for those things.
Right.
And that is then why we like to hold on to anything that can remind us of our youth, because we tend to think of youth as a good and fun time. And once you become an older adult with responsibilities, we tend to forget the importance of being that happy with things. A moment ago, I was 16 and here I am 46.
Right.
And when I look in the mirror, I don't see 46, but that's the fact. That's what I am right now. This moment in time is nothing that once was. It's just now. What I've been doing lately, and it's funny that you bring this up, we all go through life wishing we could be happy and wishing we had empowerment and wishing we had that feeling of success or that feeling of pure joy, right? And we had it when we were a kid. So what I've been doing practicing now is I've been practicing remembering or grabbing those memories back down as to how I felt when I ran or bicycled to the grocery store and got whatever snack or treat that is now considered to be a retro item. And I put that memory in my head so that I can feel that joy that I once had, so that for myself, I don't think of it as lost anymore. I think of it as a way that I want to feel continuously.
With music, it's big too. When you put on a song, it could literally transport you back in time.
It takes you anywhere you want to go. Led Zeppelin, Going to California. That song always reminds me of walking in the neighborhood where there was just pathways through like the backyards of houses or in the forest. And we would just be walking around with like a little mini ghetto blaster and, smoking a little bit of weed. But that song, because that was the music I was listening to back then, that song always takes me back to that time of that age. And like a warm blanket, I just feel good.
Right.
And that's why I love, like, when you first started with the treats and you were doing the pop-ups at 123 Datura, I fucking loved it. I loved the whole thing because you dove right the fuck into it. You had a whole costume. You grew the mustache a certain way. You became the character that you wanted to portray as the entity of what you were doing. Anything vintage, anything retro is such a massive thing because it doesn't matter who you are. It brings you back to that time that you just felt joy.
Right.
And so when I saw that you were doing it, again, I may have looked at it differently than some people. I looked at it as such an amazing thing that you were embarking on. But at the same time, I put myself not just in your shoes, but in other people's shoes that would be viewing it. And I kind of knew what was going to happen, like kind of like how it was going to looked at as being like a really great idea. But then how some people, because there's always those some people that would look down at it or think it's not a great idea.
Mhm.
And like I was thinking about the whole thing and I was like, no, man, I hope he keeps going with it because I don't give a fuck what any of those fuckers say. He's on to something. Because people
Right.
want it. The larger population is craving for something like what you're doing.
Right now, I'm in the brainstorming process, in the launching process. I'm kind of experimenting with things, trying things out, doing a little pop-ups, experimenting with flavors.
Are you creating some of these treats yourself?
So with limited edition treats, I use a lot of cereal flavors. So like limited edition cereal flavors, and I put those into making ice cream. So I make ice creams, and then with those ice creams, I can make milkshakes, and so it's not just going to be like a cereal treat. Different kind of delights using limited edition flavors.
And where do you find all of this? Because like I can't believe, like obviously I can believe it, but it's almost unbelievable that there's such an amount of limited edition.
Yeah, so every season, every holiday season, there's a different flavor that they roll out, a cool box or, only available for a limited time. Like Fruit Loops has their Valentine edition. So the Fruit Loops are shaped out of hearts. A lot of cereals back in the day, they would, whatever cartoon was popular at the moment, they would make a cereal out of it. And those boxes become very collectible and actually like a lot of money.
Just the box itself, or like the box has the cereal in it?
Well, I think if you look on eBay, some of the boxes, like if you look up this Rainbow Bright cereal from
Rainbow Bright, I haven't heard of that fucking cartoon.
I never watched it personally.
I know that was on when I was a kid.
Rainbow Bright. The box of cereal is going for like thousands of dollars. It's not even just like a seasonal thing. There could be a show, or like Powerpuff Girls, I think is, Nike just released a Powerpuff Girl skateboard collab or whatever. And I was looking up Powerpuff Girl, and there was a cereal that came out back in the day. And those are hundreds of dollars for a box of Powerpuff Girl cereal.
So you brought me a gift here. I'm gonna show everybody. Here we go.
So that's this season's Lucky Charms. It's got the clover in there. Again, just a different box, different marshmallow.
It's crazy. I've never seen the green box before. And the funniest thing about this, and I thank you so much for bringing this to me for two reasons. A, family size.
Right.
Okay. Because I don't buy anything when it comes to cereal except for family size, because I don't want to go back to the store right away.
Right.
And Lucky Charms is one of my two favorite cereals of all time.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of nostalgic factor in Lucky Charms.
Absolutely.
They always have different cool box promos. So that's never going to stop, So I'm basing the flavors and the concoctions and the confectionaries out of these limited edition runs.
That's the starting point.
That's the starting point. That's the starting point.
What you have at your pop-ups is the end result of the work that you're doing.
Correct.
The character that you have.
The character, his name is Nickey Maltz.
Nickey Maltz.
Nickey
that's
Maltz.
Perfect. And the fact that you are Italian and your name is Nickey Maltz. I mean, it's just, everything is just wonderfully packaged together, right?
Right.
And I want to get into this topic a little bit kind of like right now.
Go for it.
The imagery of that person with your mustache, and must have gotten a bit of pushback from individuals because of what it was looking like.
Biggest pushback that I want to tell this for a lot of people creating content or creating characters, the biggest pushback I'm getting is in my own mind. Looking at a video of Nickey Maltz and being like, God, that's so cringe. Like really thinking it's cringe, but then like when I put it out, I genuinely get a good response from it. And people saying, keep doing what you're doing. But like, I'm almost like my own worst enemy. I get a lot of good feedback from it. Now, if people don't like it, they're not actively telling me so. So in my head, I'm like, oh my God, like people must think I'm a creep. I have a mustache.
It's the confidence that it takes to wear said mustache which is what it lightened up my day, because I know you as a person, right? And for you to like not just have that character for what your business is that you're trying to accomplish, but to wear that character every day.
Right.
That takes a very strong individual, because you are putting yourself out there for criticism.
Right.
And because you are your own worst enemy, we all are. Being up here alone is a very, very, very scary place. The confidence that one has in order to wear something like that is why, like, I loved it because it looks fucking good, but then also it speaks volumes about your personality.
Circling back to answer your original question, the pushback that I'm getting is more me.
Okay.
It really is more me. And I think that's a big thing about creating content, right? Is getting past the cringe factor. Getting past just judging what you do, look and overanalyzing yourself, overanalyzing how you come off on video. It's something you're gonna get better at as you do it more and more and more. You know, so, and of course you're gonna get pushback from you shouldn't be wasting your time on that. Most of the people that do give you that kind of pushback or do give you that kind of criticism don't really have anything extracurricular going on. It's one thing to give constructive criticism. Hey, you know, maybe maybe you could do, like, coming from a loving,
coming from a good spot.
But if somebody's just knocking you or whatever, take a look at that person and see what it is they're doing.
You have to get yourself to the position in life where you have zero fucks and you don't care about what people think, say, or do about you. And then have the ability to know when someone's talking to you where they are in their life. Because you are 100% correct. More times than not, the people that are putting your idea down or telling you that you shouldn't do it or that it's not the best idea is someone who doesn't have something that drives them in life. And as much as they may be part of yours and you think they want the best for you, they do. They just don't want you to be better than them. Eventually, you'll stop associating with them or you'll stop having conversations with them, because we only want to be surrounded by other people that are going after something themselves.
Right.
Because those are the people that we value their opinion. Like, a big reason why you and I get along and we love having conversations is because we're both going after something completely different, but we're both going after something. And when we do run into each other from time to time, we get to see that growth that the other person has accomplished. And we want to hear the other person's advice because we know it's coming from a good spot. It's not ever coming from a spot of negativity. It's only coming from a spot of, hey, listen, I thought about this and I think this could help you go further.
Right. Exactly. Keep people around who don't give no fucks either and who will tell you like it is, because too many people want to put people around them that are yes people. So keeping yourself humble, but also having a great ego, because like your ego is good too. Feeling like that is
confidence.
Yeah, like 99% of the most successful people in the world have huge egos. You know what I mean? So an ego is needed to be successful, but you're all keeping people around that are going to keep you humble or going to call you out on your shit.
Keeping yourself in check and having real friends, not a lot, real friends surrounding you that you're okay with hearing from them the truth. And when you do become an asshole, or if you are becoming egotistical or narcissistic, they will actually fucking pull you aside and say, listen, dude, slow your roll, fucking bring it down. You know?
Right.
That's not you.
And those are the people you need to listen to. Anybody outside of that, you can kind of let roll off.
I've taken my circle of friends to a smaller circle of friends within that circle of friends, because I realize, who do I actually value and who do I actually value their opinion?
Right.
And that's solely based on what I see their actions doing, not their words, but their actions. And those very few people are the only people in my life that I will allow to tell me exactly if I'm being out of place in any type of situation, conversation, the way I'm treating somebody. What do you think is holding you back that's creating those slight apprehensions about what you're creating?
I'm gonna be real. Sometimes I care like how I'm perceived, you know, I guess.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
You know, maybe I care more than I should.
I believe that is a true fact.
Yeah, I
No,
probably
no,
care
100%. I will say that.
more than I
Yeah.
should.
You care more than you should about how you're perceived by other people, but why does their opinion fucking matter?
I guess right now is because we live in a kind of I'm saying the word violent. I don't mean violent as in like physically per se, but we do live in a more violent culture where people are ready to tear you down
For nothing, for no
about
reason.
everything,
Yeah.
and they get enjoy. I mean, there's channels on YouTube. I mean, people literally root for people getting like somebody getting somebody fired from their job, or
That's gross.
it's really disgusting. And though, like, we live in a culture where that's like perpetuated over and over. And you know, I was in a position where I got quote unquote canceled. And to be honest, it was like traumatic. If you know, like, it's traumatic. So we just live in a culture where it's easy to just talk about somebody or put something out about somebody that's like there forever. That's part of it, I guess, for me.
Okay. I'll say this.
That's part of it.
You keep saying we live in a world, we live in a society, we live in this situation.
Mhm.
This is what I'm going to say. I live in my own world.
Right.
I've chosen to live in my own matrix. I've chosen to hold on to things that make me happy so that I don't have to work hard to become empowered. I've empowered myself so that the work becomes easy.
Mhm.
So it's a hard concept for some people to understand. Here's what I'm going to say. You don't live in that world. You live in Nick's world.
Right.
Nick decides what world he lives in. Nick decides what he's going to do today, if he's going to make a left turn or a right turn. Nick decides if he's going to be happy today or angry. Nick decides if the content he's going to put out is good enough for him or not.
Right.
So, and again, like we talk about, everything we do is a practice. The more you do it, the better you get at it. The better you get at it, the more comfortable you are with it, and the less thinking happens. When I cook, I don't think.
Right.
When I step into a kitchen, my brain turns off. I just do, because that's what I've known for 32 years of my life.
Right.
I'm venturing into something else, which is new to me. And
Right.
at some point, I'm going to get to the point where this turns off and I just do it.
Right.
The same thing's going to happen for you and Nickey Maltz.
True.
Why not start doing that today? Why not
Right.
turn off all the other noise and all the other bullshit? Because you know what? I don't go to the websites that are ripping people down for trying. And I'll agree with you with this. We live in a society where for some reason trying is a bad thing, which is so fucked up, because you're trying something right now that's not being tried by others.
Right.
You're going after it, and you've already said multiple things where you're looking way down the line, not tomorrow, not the next week. You're looking like years down the line of creating a brand
Right.
that's going to be, you know, I'll say it, hopefully worldwide.
Mhm.
Okay. So why not turn off everybody else and turn on only the vibration of, I'm going to get this fucking shit done, and I don't care what the fuckers say. Because again, you don't need to go to the website that's, you know,
Right.
tearing people down. And on top of that, anybody that comes into my circle that might say something, I very much would stand up and say, yeah, well, you know what? Motherfucker's trying. What are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing today that's different? You just going to the job that you have and paying your bills, and that's it. And that's fine. You can do that if that's your choice. But that motherfucker's putting himself out there and he's trying something new. He is trying something that he could very well be criticized for, and he does not stop because he sees the passion he has and the vision he has, and no one else can fucking take that away from him.
Amen. Preach it, brother.
I mean, but that's how much I care about you and about anyone else that comes in my path that wants to do something, but then can be honest about it and say that they're a bit apprehensive about the content they're putting out. Because it is. We all have a little bit of a fear inside of us of what's that clip going to be like? Is it going to get this view? Is it not going to get this view? Is someone going to hate it? It's very, very normal of a feeling, an emotion to have. But it's up to the individual to decide how far they take that emotion and what they do with it.
True.
And I'm always gonna pat people on the back that are doing what you're doing, which is taking a leap of faith in themselves.
Got to. Life's too short. Stoic philosophy is not getting wrapped up in the emotions of winning or losing. Being content no matter what.
Yeah, it's enjoying the fact that you got to play. And we're not just saying the game. I'm talking about life. You're getting an opportunity to play. It's a game in one essence, the way that you look at it. You get an uncertain amount of time to do whatever you want. Some people choose to do nothing, and some people choose to live. And those people that choose to live enjoy what they have on a daily basis. Would you say that at this point in your life that you now have a real understanding of what it is to live?
Explain that.
Some people live today as if it's their last day.
Right. So I'm 50-50 because I think I can fall into the trap of the, routine and comfort and things like that. If you're not really designing your lifestyle to make you thrive, to make your mental health
The best.
where to the best that it
Yeah.
needs to be.
Well, I think what you're touching on is how your environment can dictate your happiness,
Absolutely.
and how one can definitely fall down the rabbit hole if they surround themselves or put themselves in a situation where all of their thoughts are, I don't have this, they have it better, my job isn't good enough, I don't have the money, I can't get in there. All of these negative words just crash down upon you like a waterfall, and you just feel like you can't get out of that. When someone notices this happening, now it takes a strong person, and again, it takes time, it takes practice. When you realize that your environment is not healthy, if you're sitting there every day thinking, fuck, I want something else, I want more out of life, I'm not happy here, this doesn't make sense, you have to change something for change to happen.
Right. And especially something like a job, right? There's so many there's so many people, or there's so many motivational speakers who are saying, just be happy, just change your mindset and like everything will change, right? But if you're going to work every day and like you hate your boss, you know what I mean? Your boss comes down on you. You're not valued at work. You're not like you come home and you're not valued in your household. Saying, "Oh, just be happy, just think positive," doesn't really make sense because there's so many coming. Like it's taking a toll on you. So you
It's
have to change certain things in order for your mindset to change.
it's a collective, and it goes both ways.
Right.
Yes, I agree with those who are saying it, change your mindset, because I've done that, and I
Right.
do live a much happier life now than I
Right.
did 10, 12, 15 years ago. 100% because of my mindset shift.
Well, it starts with a mindset.
At the same time, anytime I'm now in a situation, an environment situation, that I notice my mindset is being disrupted, I take myself out of it. If I have a job that is giving me more days of anger than happiness, I don't keep the job. If I'm associating with people that all they do is talk negatively, talk gossip, talk bullshit, I choose to hang out with them less until I no
Right.
longer hang out with them. So I agree with you. You can't just have the mindset if the physical environment is also bringing you down. You have to make that change as well.
Right.
And easier said than done, because we're talking about people, like right now, we're
Right.
talking about jobs.
And sometimes, well, and also sometimes you really can't help it where you're at. You also like, you're also like,
I mean, I'm going to go and say the opposite. I say you can. It might be a little tougher. It might be a bit more
Right.
sacrifice. It
Right.
might be less money. It might be a bit more strenuous on your life, your income, your
Right.
home, but you can. It's a
Right.
choice.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. The movie Horrible Bosses, I'm only bringing it up, we're talking about jobs, but the movie, it's a comedy movie.
Yeah,
It's
I love it.
hilarious.
I'm already smiling.
But it's based in a real problem today.
Absolutely.
Where people feel like they're trapped at work and they're completely beaten down by their boss. You know what I mean? And they almost like they have no escape. So you do have to make those big changes if you want to completely,
if you want to live a happier life.
if you want to live a happier life, because happiness just isn't like a switch you can turn on and off.
Oh, not at all.
You do have to have like, there is
work.
certain things that need to come into your life to get you there.
There's a lot of fucking effort that is needed. And I can contest to this because I am now living a happier life than I did in the past.
Right.
And the level of laser type focus on creating your own happiness is so daily dedicated that it almost feels impossible sometimes, because you're going to get pushed back. You're going to fall down. You're not going to have that exciting enjoyment feeling within you every second of every day. It is literally a lifestyle choice to live that way.
Right.
And it's life, dude. Life is fucking difficult. Life is full of hurdles. It has ups and downs, and you're constantly going to be challenged. But you have to make that decision every day on whether or not you want to keep practicing at doing it. It's what's more important to you.
Right. And then, I mean, because a lot of people can look and say, well, money, I need money to be happy, or I need money to be successful. And that may be true, right? It could be true or it could be not. But it doesn't have to be like the defining. Some people can be happy, having a boat and going fishing in the mornings. They might not have $1 million, but their lifestyle is set up that it genuinely is fulfilling. And there's a lot of people that have a lot of money that don't have a lifestyle that's fulfilling. So you could easily make a lot of money and then have a very, very fulfilling lifestyle with the choices you make with that money.
It's completely up to you.
Yeah.
That there's I'm fucking up this box here of the limited edition.
So I mean, I do encourage people who want to be happy to really look at the different facets of their lifestyle and figure out, what the best change can be.
I mean, you nailed you hit the nail with the hammer on that one. If that's the saying, it's like one has to self-evaluate. You have to, if you're not happy, if you find that you have more days that you're going to sleep at the end of it, that you're not happy, you need to look inside yourself and figure out, what is it about my day that I'm unhappy about? And even maybe write it down. This happened, I didn't like. This
Right.
happened, I didn't like. And then maybe conversely, write down what things you could have done that would have made it happy. Or instead of this, I could have done that. Instead of this, I could have done that. And then maybe make that list as things you're going to do tomorrow. It's a practice I do. I just started doing this, write down at night what I want to do the next day. And then the next day I look at that list and see, okay, did I accomplish it? And how did I accomplish it? And this is what I'm saying when it's an everyday dedication to live a happier life, is the amount of different practices that I have to implement, or that I've chosen to implement into my life to ensure that I have more happy days. There's a lot of writing. There's a lot of thinking. There's a lot of minutes and hours that I'm putting into things in order to analyze the result that I'm getting.
Relationships, right?
Life is full of them.
Does this person that I'm living with, is this person that I'm with?
We don't even need to take it to the relationship as in the significant other that you may or may not be living with or
Right.
dating or what have you. Relationships in general.
Right.
Are the relationships in my life healthy, or are they not?
Right.
How many people have friends, that's a relationship, that the moment you walk away from them, they talk shit about you to other people, and then those other people come to you and say, hey, by the way, the person said this. There is a relationship that you need to make a choice to stop hanging out with them. No matter how much you feel that the person maybe didn't mean it or whatever, it's not a healthy relationship. Do you have a healthy relationship with your family, with your brothers, your sisters, your aunts, your uncles, your mom, your dad? Like, so many relationships. It's what makes the world go round. And you
Right.
have to self-evaluate and evaluate all of those things surrounding them. I'll ask you this. Are you living the life that you wanted 5 years ago?
Not really.
Okay. What do you feel is not there?
Well, I mean, everything kind of changed with me during the pandemic.
Okay.
I was pretty content with DJing, and I was kind of just going through, but certain things changed in my life or whatever that kind of put me on a new trajectory, and I'm not where I want to be, or not there yet. But one of the things, I do know the steps, and I'm taking the steps to get there. But it's for me, it's a good 5-10 year road.
Okay. So 5 years ago, where you thought you were going to be is not where you are now, but you're happy because you found a new road and you can now see 5 and 10 years down the line of what that path
and that
is.
really does create a confidence and a contentment inside me.
That's awesome.
My situation right now, not the happiest. Certain things are out of alignment.
Okay.
And like you said, because I know the trajectory, because I know the steps, and I'm continually taking those steps, gives me a really big edge.
Okay.
And
It makes
a
you feel
big,
comfortable, even though you may not be happy with where you are now. You have a plan in place and you can see where you're going to go and you know what steps have to be taken in order to get yourself to that spot.
correct.
What advice could you give to other people then, since you're in that current position? Which
Do you
I
mind if
love.
I use the restroom real quick? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Real quick. I know we were like
You're good.
rolling,
You're good.
but I got to pee so bad.
Yep. Swing down, sweet chariot.
All right. All right. Oh, I'm having a great time, by the way.
Listen, we always have great conversations.
Yeah. All right.
We'll get right back into it.
All right. Back into it.
Okay.
Back in.
So, welcome back, DJ Nick Flash.
Let's go.
So since you're currently saying that you're not 100% happy with where you're at because you know you've had to take a new path, what advice would you give to someone that's watching or listening to this that may not be 100% happy with where they're at, because you can see where you're going and you know what kind of steps need to be taken? If someone is watching this and is just kind of like, well, what do I fucking do to create more happiness?
Okay, so I'm gonna talk real quick. As a man, I can't speak on women for this, but as a man, I think one of the key things um, to having a healthier, more happier lifestyle is surround yourself with your brothers, and that's something that you got going very well with the Hellbent Garage guys, like the compound that you live on. In my opinion, that brotherhood is sacred. As a man, I would say one of the most important thing is surround yourself with your brothers. Surround yourself with guys who are going to challenge you, who are going to support you. And the same thing with women, like having like a sisterhood, and good girlfriends around, and just a good circle, or being able to put yourself around those kind of people in close proximity. I would say is very important. It's something that I want to strive to. That's one of the things that I respect about you a lot is the compound that you live on. I mean, there's a great collective of guys there,
I mean,
of
there's
supportive
four
guys.
of us that live on that property, and I'm very grateful and very thankful for all of them. And every time I step away for work, and I'm gone for months at a time or weeks at a time, I always tend to look within myself and kind of evaluate my life. And when I come back, I always get reassured by these people because of the fact that we are so close, and that no matter what's going on in each other's lives, we can always find time to sit and talk. And it's absolutely, you're
Yeah.
100% correct. It's the most amazing thing. What I've learned over 46 years of living is to make sure that circle is small.
Second thing, again, it goes back to making sure you're aligned, making sure you're doing something career wise that is fulfilling. Even as long as your job is fulfilling, I think you'll be all right to some degree.
Yeah. I very much feel for individuals that drag their head when they go to work every day. I'm not saying that I'm a million times happy every day I walk into work, because life is life and sometimes things happen that you are not happy with, but I'm very grateful that I have like the actual job that I do, the physical job of cooking for other people, and the response I receive from them when they eat a good meal, you know, puts me up here, like fulfills me, like my cup runneth over. This job, sitting down with good fucking people and having proper conversations, the level of high, the dopamine that I have after a recording, and then when I get to watch it in post production, and fuck, dude, like the joy just kind of fucking overwhelms me sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, and like I feel it on set here too, and just like and it goes back to the environment. The environment feels great. Just it's a great experience. So being able to do things that are fulfilling, I think is key.
It's a
And
game
then
changer.
and then having good romantic relationships too, or being
Okay.
able to put yourself in fulfilling romantic relationships.
Why?
And
Why do you?
people could say, "Oh, this relationship's toxic and all there's drama and whatever." Sometimes that's okay. Having some sort of romantic relationships or pursuing romantic relationships it is fulfilling in its own right. Like, and I think it's something that
People need.
everybody should focus on to some degree, not
I'm
letting it overrun your life,
going to
but
say two things here on that topic.
go for it.
We'll get into it. So the toxic relationships, in my opinion, because I've been in them, are not healthy whatsoever. They're not good for you. From that aspect of it's unhealthy. From the learning aspect of what it is that you should not involve yourself in, absolutely. There's a great deal of education in those toxic relationships. It's put your hand in the fire once and get burnt. Don't put your hand in there a second time. And I've done it like 3 or 4 times because that's the types of relationships I sought after because I strived on that negativity back then.
Right.
Having someone in your life, I can absolutely, having the right person in your life is wonderful because at the end of the day, you have someone to converse with. At the end of the day, whether it's been good day or bad day, you have someone that you can throw ideas off of or express to them your disappointment or your accolade of the day, and receiving that I guess unconditional love from somebody uh, absolutely fulfills you. I
Right.
do agree from those aspects of that topic. Relationships are tough.
But then there's also the thrill of the chase and, the seduction end of it, like, and so when you say, toxic, sometimes that could be lead to something that's very passionate, and that within itself is fulfilling and fun and exciting and things like that too. So we have to take that into account, just like romantic relationships in general. And I'm not talking about, like your spouse or just living together or just functioning on a day-to-day basis, but I'm talking about the seduction end of it, the thrill end of it, the passionate end of it. I think that like having like passion
Having
in a
passion is important, but I
is,
don't.
and not to say it's the be all end all of happiness. That's not what I'm
Right, right.
saying,
It can add to it, or it can
but
take away from it.
it could,
Absolutely.
and I think at least putting effort into that space is fulfilling.
Putting effort into it
Putting
is
effort
absolutely
into that
fulfilling. Yep.
into that space.
And understanding. So you keep bringing up certain words, and because I spent most of my life chasing after women and falling short of what it was I was looking for, being crazy or passionate in love is not something I'm looking for anymore. I'm looking for what they call being calmly in love because I don't want to be yelling and screaming. I don't want to be getting in arguments. I
Right.
don't want the uncomfortableness. I don't want the drama. I want the effort. I
Mhm.
want the real relationship of tearing down all vulnerability and being your truest self, not just for you, but for them, and creating an environment of safety where you can say everything you want to say as an individual, as a human,
Right.
and have that comfortableness of knowing that you love that person as much as they love you. That's where I'm at right now at my stage in life, in my journey.
Gotcha.
I'm over the being. I'm not saying you can't have passion in the calm love.
Right.
I'm
Right.
just saying I'm tired of the headache of I'm crazy in love with this person. Like, no. And the effort is keeping the romance alive. This is why I like this topic and I wanted to get to this point is keeping that romance alive after 46 years of living and watching TV and being in relationships and seeing other friends' relationships. I understand, I believe I know what it takes to be in a long-term, long-lasting relationship. It is the chase that's important for us men, at least that's what I think. Having that chase is great, but
Well,
you can't lose it just because you're in a relationship. You should call your wife or your girlfriend or call your wife your girlfriend still. You know what
right.
I'm saying? Like, don't lose what it was like when you first started romancing her in order to get her.
Right.
Right. Keep that alive and be vulnerable and be honest and be chivalrous and care about the person and take them on dates and go randomly dancing one night or go listen to a DJ that you loved when you first started hanging out. Like all of those things is what you should be wanting to romance your romance with.
Right. It makes sense. It makes sense. Well, see, like I think everybody's different when everybody's different when it comes to what works for them at whatever time of their life.
100%.
You know what I mean? And I think being able to set yourself up with a family and have that long-term relationship ultimately is a key factor of happiness. Being able to maintain that, or a sense of family, is very important. To be able to build a family is very important to one's happiness and state of mind.
I think it in return will give you fulfillment.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. I agree with you. But in order to get there, in order for men, and again, that's what we're talking about because that's what we are. We can't speak for women. Uh, for a man, in order to achieve that goal in your life, you have to be willing to give up things that you're so used to having.
Right.
Do you know what I mean by that?
Hmm.
Like, there's so many different flavors out there. And as a young man, as an individual who has chased women most of his life, there's always something nicer. There's always, oh, the grass is greener on that side. Or what if that person comes along and so it's realizing that there's always going to be other people out there that pique your interest, but are you willing to devote and dedicate your life to one person?
Right.
That's a question that you have to ask yourself before getting into an actual relationship.
I mean, in today's world, I think like our lifestyle kind of dictates, that people are into so many things now. They're into there's so many different options when it comes to relationships. So I guess, I mean, in that regard, just taking the avenue that is most fulfilling to you. And I see on the internet today, just a lot of people are fed up with dating, dude. They're fed up with the opposite sex. Like, women hate men, men hate women. Like, I don't want to date anymore. Dating apps are this. And there's so much tension between the opposites, like, sex today. You could see a lot of people are very
It's tough
unfulfilled.
out there.
A
It's tough
lot
out
of
there.
people are unfulfilled. So I think being able to keep that, not be jaded or bitter by the people that maybe have broke your heart, or by things that didn't really work out, or looking at the opposite sex like an enemy. I think that it will really hinder your progress in your happiness.
I believe it comes back to the point being made about being vulnerable and being honest. If you are going to venture into a relationship with another human being, every one of us, after a certain age, has been hurt one way or another. That's just facts, right? If you've tried your hand in relationships, more likely than not, you've been hurt or you've hurt somebody, right? That's just fact. So when you go into a relationship now, this is the way I look at it, is being honest is what people say they want, but they don't know how to receive it. And my experience, my example of this is when I'm dating someone, I tell them, I'm going to be completely honest with you, 100%. You're not going to always like what I'm saying. And this is like kind of like on repeat because I've said this on a couple other episodes recently. I'm going to tell you straight up how I feel. And I'm going to explain to you why I feel that way. It might not be because of you. It might be because of something that I've had happen to me in the past. But I'm going to let you know that so you understand where it's coming from. And at the same time, I want you to be honest with me. If you have a level of insecurity and you want to know what I'm doing at all times, let me know that someone has cheated on you before and that's why you act that way. Because then all I can do is tell you, listen, it takes zero effort for me to tell you, hey babe, I'm at the studio. I'm finishing up work in an hour. I'm going to go home, walk the dog and take a shower and I'll hit you up, video call you. You know what I'm saying? That's the world we live in right now. We have a video call. And if you're willing to do that for someone, hopefully in time it lessens their insecurity and their worry and like what you're doing because they know what you're doing. But at the same time, that person then has to be okay with the fact of loosening the reins. And if that's what you're going to do to help them, then they have to help you by not being on their case by being on your case all the time.
Right.
And that's what I mean. Like you have to be willing to be honest with the person and be okay receiving their honesty.
No, absolutely. So, as far as the advice I give, I would circle back and say those key areas that I mentioned, your work, your love life, your health, and your brotherhood and sisterhood, and family dynamics. Make sure, if they're not tight, you're
Tightening them
understanding
up.
why, and
Yeah.
and tightening them up.
Well, I think to wrap it all up today, I think basically what you and I have been saying is, look inside yourself to figure out why you might not be happy right now. Figure out what environmental situation might be disrupting it. Think about what you don't have in your life that you would like that might fulfill you. write these things down and make a plan to fucking go after them.
Right.
I
No,
think
absolutely.
that's a big recipe for success.
Absolutely. And also having somebody there who you can talk with about like being unhappy,
Yes.
because that's you know,
It's important.
it's important.
Yeah. And that's what we're here for all of the viewership out there in the Life Choices land, all my lifers. I want people to understand that this isn't just a podcast that you come and listen to, that if you need help or if you want to talk to someone, shoot me an email, or even the guest that's on here. If you resonate more with them and their opinions, then scroll on down to the description, get the emails, get the Instagram tags, and reach out to us, because there's not a single member of the guests that have been on this show that would not respond to a comment that someone might send them. And that's important to me here. So I thank you, Nick, for coming by and sharing with us the
It's an honor. Honestly, I had a really great time. I love the new studio. Yeah, great energy.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I thank you very much for bringing me this gift here. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors with where you're going to go and what you're doing with your businesses. I love you to death. Absolutely. I'm so glad you came back on the show. Not the last time you'll be on here. We have so much more to talk about.
Absolutely.
Anytime you want to come by, anytime. Like, that's the great thing about having this studio downtown West Palm Beach, is that I can come here.
I'm gonna take you up on that.
Anytime 100%. Of day. If I'm awake, I can come here and I can put down some tracks for it. No problem. So thank you very much, Nick. If anyone out there wants to get hold of Nick to find out about his business or any other ventures that he might be doing, just scroll on down to the description below. You can reach out to Nick anytime. See you all here next week, Tuesday at 2 on the Life Choices podcast. Much love, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you are now about
The Journey Life Choices podcast.